listening to the Shanler Show.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Shanler Show, formerly known as the Brad Shanler Show. This is episode number 3. We are presented by Belly Up Sports Network. Go check them out. Look up Belly Up Sports on Twitter. Look them up on look them at their website, bellyupsports.com. Lots of podcasts to check out. Anything from football, racing, beer drinking, anything like that. That's something you might be interested in there, Tony. Beer drinking.
Beer drinking, definitely.
Yeah. So with me today, I got my brother. This is our podcast. We've done 2 episodes so far. This is now number 3. This is my brother Anthony. How we doing today, buddy?
I'm doing well. I think we're gonna get some snow this weekend, depending on how much we get. I might go snowboarding, you know.
Right, for realsy. That sounds like a plan. Fuck snowboarding in my back. You know,
I'm gonna get you out there one time.
Yeah, go check out some snow bunnies.
Yeah, dude, you got. I'm telling you, man.
I don't know, man. Last time I went snowboarding, I was on my ass way more than I was up on the board. Excuse me. So today we're gonna talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about a sport that you're very familiar with. We're going to talk about the football games that happened this past week. And one in particular I wanted to talk about were the Bills and the Chiefs game. And also yesterday, which would be January 25th, 2022, it was announced that David Ortiz is going to be inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame, which it's been something that's, been speculated and whatnot. We're going to talk about the speculations of his PD reports. And another thing that I wanted to get on is I want to talk about and get your opinion on the whole Hall of Fame vote and what is going on with the Baseball Writers Association of America and why they're leaving out some of the greatest players to ever play the game, such as Barry Lamar Bonds and Roger Clemens. Barry Bonds being one of the greatest hitters of all time. And also, Roger Clemens, he played for both of our teams. You're a Yankee fan. I'm a Red Sox fan. And, I try to be as unbiased as possible when it comes to the Yankees on this show. On this show, I'll be more
and I promise to give you the same respect for Mr. David Ortiz.
And I'll tell you right now, if you ever came on my Red Sox podcast, you would get shit all over.
Oh, that's okay. I'm used to
it. But let's start off by talking about, in my opinion, I don't watch football all that often, but I watched the Chiefs and Bills game this past weekend on Sunday, and I sent you a text message. Since we started this, we've been communicating a little bit more towards sports and whatnot when it came to football. I've been trying to pay attention here and there, trying to learn a little bit about it and whatnot, to be respectful to you, being able to talk to you about the sport when you come on here and talk. So I watched the Chiefs and Bills game on Sunday night, knowing that was probably going to be the best game of the weekend. And boy, did that live up to the hype. And I have to admit, in my 38 years of living on this earth, I have to say that was probably the greatest football game I've ever seen. They changed scores. They changed scores in the last 13, like a minute and 20 something seconds. What they changed, they scored 20 some odd points, right?
Yeah. So you kind of stealing the words out of my mouth here, but it's not just the best playoff game of the weekend, Brad. It is probably one of the best playoff games ever.
I honestly think it's one of the best games, period.
It should be a Super Bowl, but they're in the AFC, so it could never happen. But, I mean, that was a game that you would watch over and over and over. I mean, that was literally what football is about right there. The best of the best playing against each other, and it literally coming down to 13 seconds you have left with 3 timeouts, and you put it together. You figure out a plan, and it's like chess. What's the other team going to do? What should I do? You just can't let them dribble down like that on freaking 13 seconds and 3 timeouts and be able to give yourself a chance to kick a 3 points to tie the game and go into overtime. You know what I mean? Like, that's just.
So I have a question for you.
Bills had it in the bag.
Right. So did you actually think that with 13 seconds left, did you think that there was going to be a chance for Patrick Mahomes to get to tie it up, and Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs to be able to tie it up?
So I will answer that by saying you have to. And you live in Tom Brady era. I mean, you've seen some crazy stuff. You know what I mean?
That's 13 seconds, man.
I know, and that's pushing it. But let me give you the example. I was watching that game with my son, and there was 13 seconds. And what do you do when you have a kid? You teach. And the first words out of my mouth is, Anthony, look, they have 3 timeouts left. Anthony, look, they have 3 timeouts left. Why are they kicking it? Why aren't they doing a squib kick? This shit should have been a squib kick. You could have ran off at least 3 to 5 seconds off the clock, off the top, without having to worry about anything but just tackling the goddamn guy. And it would have been a totally different game. But no, so they played conservatively, and then they kicked it through the end zone, right? And then they get the ball, no time missing, the same 13 seconds. You know what I mean?
Right. So do you think that this basically runs down to the head coach of the Bills, and he should have told the kicker to squib kick?
Yes, absolutely. Should have been a squib kick. They've been talking about it all week. People understand the conservative move. You never, because I mean, let's just face it. The play before, or not the play before, but there was a punt return by Tyreek Hill, and he ran it for like 50, 60 yards before he got tackled. You know what I mean? So that could have actually gave the Kansas City Chiefs a better opportunity to actually score before kicking the field goal to go to overtime. So if Tyreek Hill ran 8 seconds off the clock, but got it down to the 10-yard line, they would have had a choice, obviously, and they probably would have kicked it. But you know what I mean? It's always the potential. Don't give them the chance at all. Don't give them the ball. Don't give them the ball. So
other things I wanted to talk about as well is, like, there were 3 other games this past weekend.
Was there?
That ended up miraculously all the same way. All 3 home teams lost. All 3 away teams won with 4 seconds left on a field goal. Like, how crazy is that? The fact that there was 4 seconds left in all 3 games, and all 3 were a walk-off, a field goal.
I tell you, it was amazing to watch, because where do we go? Well, it was last weekend when I was all hyped up about all these football games, and like, this is good. This is like the best weekend for football, and they were freaking blowouts. And the best game of last weekend was the Cowboys versus the 49ers, and watching Dak shit the bed because he did what his coach told him to do. But this weekend just was it hit every single level of any good games. Like, literally, it was amazing to watch, And then Tom Brady, man, just right when you thought he was just done, he's almost coming back. And I'm just like, what is going on? I can't believe this. This guy's about to freaking pull it off again. Right. Thank God he didn't.
I would have liked to have seen it. No, so now you brought up Tom Brady. Let me ask you a question. And it's a question that's been asked throughout the sports media world pretty much all week. Do you think that he's done? Do you think he's going to retire, or do you think he's going to come back?
If you asked me Monday, I would have said he was coming back. After listening to him on TB12 and some sports radio, he might sail out in the sunset, man, and go be, the father he wants to be. He's talking about being with his family. I know he's got a kid going into high school. He's just a stand-up dude, man. You can't really hate on the guy besides the fact that he knows how to win. I think that he could go away from playing. But I think even if he does retire, or even when he retires, he's going to come back in some kind of form. Whether it's owning a team, coaching a team, GMing a team. I mean, Michael Jordan tried doing that with the Wizards, but it's didn't really work out as good as his career in basketball was. But I mean, Tom Brady just understands football, man. And why not? Why not walk away with what you have and the experience that you've given other people? I mean, and you're not hurt. You're not injured. You don't have brain injuries. You don't have, crippled syndromes going on. You know what I mean? You're walking out on top. And I think that's better than some other football players can say, right, like Joe Namath.
So you're saying that Brady's going to retire. So with that being said, do you think that Rob Gronkowski comes back?
No.
So if Tom Brady doesn't come back, Gronk's not coming back.
Nope.
If Brady comes back, do you think that Rob comes back?
Yep. It's right, that simple too.
And here's where I stand on this. And I've heard some of the stuff where he's been talking about he's got to think about his family. It's not up to him. It's a family decision, this, that, the other thing. I mean, in all honesty, I think he's kind of talking out of his ass. I think that while, yes, he's a family man and whatnot, I do think that him and Giselle are getting together and talking about it. And he's just like, you know what? I can't go out like that. I can't go out like no punk ass bitch.
But then why wouldn't he have gone out after, all the different Super Bowls? I mean, he had so many chances to walk out on top.
This is the way it's going to happen. And this is the way I think it's going to happen.
He goes to the Giants. No, I'm just kidding. We don't want him.
Don't even fucking kid yourself. You would take fucking Brady in a heartbeat at 53.
I would take Aaron Rodgers too.
Right. But Brady wants to be the record holder. He has 7 rings right now. He wants number 8. If this is what's going to happen, he's going to wait and see what the Bucs are going to do. He's going to see how the Bucs are going to replenish their players. They're going to get wide receivers. He's going to want to see if they're going to bring back somebody like Gronk. They're going to want another tight end. They got to replace Antonio Brown. He's going to want to see what's going to happen with their head coach, who I don't even know why he's a coach, because Brady's the one that calls all the fucking shots, but that's what's going to happen. And if they don't provide him with the weapons that's going to help him win another Super Bowl, I think he retires. But
so if he has a Super Bowl caliber team, he will stay.
I think so.
And that's
his contract. His contract's up. So
his contract is his contract.
I get it. He can always sign another
he's
contract.
Never been selfish. He's never wanted the top dollar. You know what I mean? He just wants what he deserves.
Well, right. I mean,
what does it? I didn't even know 22, what he made.
I think he was making 22.
And Tampa. Yeah. So I mean, in that perspective,
wow. In 2020, he made 25. In 2021, he made 41.
Yeah, well, he won a Super Bowl for him.
That is absolutely fucking.
If you have the money, you might as well do it, right? But it's you raise a very good point. Why would I waste my old age on a team if we don't even have a chance? You know what I mean? Right. I can understand that. But I don't know. I feel that he should just ride out. See you later. Adios.
All right. Hold on. This is so. He made $29.4 million last year. And at the age of 25, I believe 2022 is this season coming up, I think, is his contract. Yeah, because he's a free agent.
What
in
was his biggest
2023.
paycheck in New England?
Uh, So
Sorry, guys, we're looking up facts right now while we're on the live here.
he had a contract for $41 million with them. He was, if I'm reading this correctly, his biggest contract with them was $30 billion.
Wow. See,
I think I'm not sure. It's kind of I'm
he's
having a
never
hard
been in it
time.
for the money. He's been in it to win. So your philosophy might be right. You know, he's not going to go to another team. Let's just say that.
If he
So
goes to another team, he's going back to the Patriots.
half the reason
No,
why
you really you think I'm joking. I think that he's one of those guys. I don't honestly think that he wanted to leave New England.
no, he wanted
He
to
got
win.
he got shafted. He wanted to get paid what he was worth, and Belichick was like, "Well, you're old, so I'm not going to give you that." And that was basically the response.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that was one thing that Belichick got wrong. I mean,
And
you
the only
went from
reason why Tom Brady
went,
went to Tampa last year was because that's where the Super Bowl was going to be, and no other quarterback has ever won an at-home Super Bowl.
Nope.
And
nope, not at all. If he's the first and only so far,
that's what gave him the willpower.
Nobody can ever take that away from him, saying that he was the first.
Which it's not just a gimme. I mean, you still got to play a season out, and that guy he brought a team that was barely a playoff team. Had, there was some good pieces. Mike Evans has been always a top receiver, but he just made that team better because he got, AB, he got Gronk, he had Leonard Fournette went through some stuff, but they overcame it. And once the playoffs came and he became playoff Lenny, he just showed up. And their defense was like the heart of that freaking team. I watched a special back in December about that team and that season, and they overcame a lot. The Saints really freaking hurt them at the beginning of the season with a loss. I think they won, and then they lost a game that they should have won. And then they had to play them again in the playoffs, and they were just freaking lights out, freaking owned them. It was a good story. I kind of wish Tom Brady would just sail out in the sunset.
You want him to sail so that you never have to hear his name again.
No, I respect the GOAT. I call him the GOAT. He's the best quarterback I've ever seen. I can't.
Is he the GOAT or is he the boat?
The GOAT needs to get on the boat.
Is he the greatest of all time or is he the best of all time?
Quarterback?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Well, which one is it?
I'd say he's the best quarterback of all time. The GOAT.
Is he the greatest of all time?
Yes.
So he's boat GOAT. He's the boat GOAT.
He's get on the boat and go.
He's the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Let's go off topic real quick. I was listening earlier. I think it was yesterday. Who do you think is the best NFL football player, not positional wise, just football player of all time?
You're putting me on the spot because you know that I don't follow football.
I know, but it'd be fun to just ask.
If I'm going to go with it, I mean, I grew up in a time when you had Lawrence Taylor, you had Barry Sanders, you had Deion Sanders, you had Jerry Rice, you had Troy Aikman, you had Steve Young, Joe Montana. I mean, that era was just like amazing. And I actually paid attention a little bit back. I definitely paid attention more then.
Well, I'll tell you what, the names that you just said, one of those are in that. So you're very close.
Well, it's an opinion. So no matter what I say, it's the greatest. I've always been a Jerry Rice fan.
Okay.
But if we're going defense, I gotta go Taylor.
No. We're not going defense. We're going NFL player.
So I enjoy Jerry Rice.
Jerry Rice was a very, very good receiver in clutch moments, and He won so many Super Bowls with Joe Montana. But this
he had two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time.
Yeah, I know. But let me spin this around your head just because I thought about it while I was working. There's a couple ideas and there's two different ways to go about this, but I'll give you my number 2. I'll give you my number 2.
No, you wouldn't let me get you didn't accept my number 2, so you give me number 1 and that's it.
Number 1's Deion Sanders. Period.
Nope.
Yes.
Nope.
He literally shut down half of the field.
He also played offense and defense. So
exactly.
And he was a special teams guy, wasn't he?
Stealing all my lines, Brad. That's what I was going to say. And not only that, but they people will say, well, look how many tackles he has. He doesn't have as many as this person or that person. That's because they didn't throw the damn ball to his side. He was just shut down. He was a shutdown corner, and there's no explanations about it. I think, by far, and I haven't even talked about baseball yet, but that has nothing to do with football. He is by far, I feel, is the number 1 best NFL football player. And my number 2 is LT, period. He changed the game. He dictated.
At least we agree on the number 2.
Oh, and you know what? Honestly, my number 1 has always been LT just because I'm biased and I love LT. But I was listening to Stephen A. Smith, which I know you probably don't like, but he's the one that brought that idea about Deion Sanders and really changed my mind. And he's right, man. That guy played 3 levels: special teams, defense, offense. Yeah, I mean, he just go on and on about him.
So we talked about Deion Sanders. You and I have talked about Deion Sanders recently. We also talked about Bo Jackson. And the one thing that they both had in common is that they both played baseball and football. Yeah. And, that's actually a pretty decent transition into our next subject because, like I said at the beginning of the show, in the intro, last night, the Baseball Hall of Fame, Baseball Writers Association of America dictated who was getting into the Hall of Fame. It was, you had Barry Bonds, who was on for the 10th year. You had Roger Clemens, who was on for the 10th year. You had Curt Schilling, who was on for the 10th year. And then you had David Ortiz, or better known as Big Papi. This is his first time being on the ballot. You also had so you had a bunch of steroid players that were on there. And just so you know, like while you were doing that, you made your camera go fuzzy. So
don't do that again.
It's bad.
But people can't see us anyways. You got kicked off Facebook, so we're not live there.
Yeah, well, we're live on our YouTube, and we're
also we are.
Sweet. We are also live. We are also live on Belly Up Sports,
nice.
The Twitter account, and we have 2 followers right now that are viewing us.
Hi guys.
So let's start talking about this because baseball is literally like what I live and breathe for.
Right.
When it comes to sports, diehard Red Sox fan, huge baseball fan. Very excited that David Ortiz was
77.9% votes, man. That's a lot.
Very excited that David Ortiz was elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame as a first ballot. In all honesty, people don't realize this, but he is one of 4 other. He is one of 5 now Red Sox legends who were elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame on their first ballot. But he is also the only one for the Red Sox that have been elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame with multiple, not just one, but multiple championships. He has 3 rings. He has 2004, 2007, 2013. Pedro Martinez is behind him with 1 ring. Then you have Ted Williams. You have Yastrzemski. And I believe there is 1 more, and I'm probably fucking forgetting it. I think that maybe it was 4. I'm not sure.
Dude,
Cy Young? I think was it Cy Young? I'm not sure.
He really brought the Red Sox back to life, mean, I don't know what it feels like, but I can only imagine going so many years without anything. You know what I mean? And
It was
the
86 years between World Series championships, which, like, I know you're a Yankees fan, and I kind of got to take a dig at you being a Yankees fan. How many World Series have you seen the Yankees win since you've been alive?
I want to say at least 6.
Around 5.
5. All right, I was close.
Yeah, you've
I'm
seen
glad
them
I
win
didn't
5.
say 10.
Yeah. So you've seen them win 5, and the Red Sox have won 4, right? So you guys technically have only had one championship more than the Red Sox in your lifetime.
In
I
your
understand.
perspective.
It's within your lifetime. They've only won 5 World Series since
But
you've been
my
born.
team has won 27, so
That's not where I'm going with this. I said your team has won 5 World Series since you have been born, correct?
And yours has won 4 since you've been born.
Correct. So you technically have only won 1 World Series more in your life than the Red Sox.
And I have 1 less year than you. 18 months.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they still won 4 World Series within your lifetime. So
yes, you're right. You're correct. What are you getting at?
I mean, 20. You have 27 rings in 1 watch.
All right, but you know what? I mean, if you want to go on a debate, like, it doesn't
there's no
matter.
debate.
It's about what you build your. I mean, you got to realize, like, New York Yankees were like that was what they grew into. If you are the best, you play for New York Yankees, and that's what happened. And then,
that's not true at all, because David Ortiz was the best designated hitter of all time.
Right. In our time, I'm saying our time is different. I'm saying before us, before we were born, that was the mindset where if you wanted to win a championship, you go play for the Yankees. If the Yankees want you, you go. You don't even try to negotiate. You don't say no. You just do it. And I mean,
I would 100% say no if the Yankees offered me a contract.
Because you're biased.
I don't think that's
because you don't like the Yankees, right?
Not even that. It's like their stupid facial hair rule is stupid. I'm sorry. I'm a man. I'm over the age of 18. Yeah. If I can grow facial hair, let me fucking grow my facial hair.
Your mindset wouldn't be like that in the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s. You wouldn't think that. You would think paycheck. No, where can I get my money? Where can I get that ring?
Nowadays is more about the paycheck. Back then it wasn't.
I get it. So let's talk about Ortiz, because this guy has done something special for the Red Sox. He really came in through.
You think?
Oh man, when I just watched on Facebook while I was taking a shit this morning.
I'm sure everybody needs to know that you were taking a shit.
Well, you talk about it, so I figured I could throw it in there,
Jesus Christ.
When the bases were loaded, when Ortiz came up against Detroit, right?
Joaquin Benoit at 2013. It was the second game of the ALCS.
Dude,
it was the bottom of the 8th.
Was it a first pitch, or
it was a first pitch?
It was the first pitch, and he just fucking cracked it. Granted, if an Aaron Judge would have been there, he might have caught it.
I don't think
that ball was almost catchable. It was almost catchable.
It was 100% catchable, but Torrey Hunter took a wrong.
Jump too early, and he hit the wall.
He didn't jump too early. He jumped too late. Because if you look at it,
it was already by the glove.
He was over, like, say you're in the right field. He was over probably a good 2 feet, and he was trying to reach back. If you look at it, the bullpen catcher actually catches the ball.
Yeah, oh yeah. It didn't even stand up. He was just squatting, and he just caught it.
Yep, and watch Torrey Hunter flip over the.
Yep. Did you see the guy? There's a police officer just going like this, and it's just like, oh, there's a guy falling. Hey, you okay, buddy? Like, his arms were up and everything still. Is funny. But yeah, no. But anyways, that right there was like such a great moment to watch. And, you got to respect the man that can hit the ball. And he Granted, he would have played first base for the Red Sox if they needed to every game, they needed him to, but they didn't need him to. They had him hit DH all the, a lot of times, and he performed, and a lot of people who don't get on the field, like an Aaron Judge, for an example, if he were to not be out on the field and just hit, he wouldn't be as good of a hitter as he can be because he's not active. You know what I mean? David Ortiz, he's one of those guys. He could have played first. He doesn't have to play first. He just knows how to freaking hit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I got you.
Especially in clutch moments.
I'm trying to find a picture for you for that.
But to be a first round Hall of Famer,
first ballot
Hall of Famer is a very, very good accomplishment. But now I have a question for you. Do you think he feels any kind of guilt by receiving that?
For why?
Well, we all know that he's
say it. I want you to say it because I'm gonna fucking shit all over you for this.
What? Tested positive for PEDs?
He did not test positive for PEDs.
What's the scandal?
He did not. He never tested positive. His name was mentioned in the Mitchell report.
Oh, that's what it's about.
That he had never tested positive, and ever since that, in 2004, when they started implementing the steroid, they started having to make them take piss tests. They drug tested them. David Ortiz was literally one of the most tested players since 2004 because of the implication during the Mitchell report. And within the Mitchell report, 20 of those reported were actually false positives.
Right.
And also within that Mitchell report, they were just supposed to be numbers. They were supposed to be anonymous. They weren't supposed to be like
released.
Like when you go and take a piss, you know how you piss test, you put your name on the container with the sticker or whatever. They didn't have that. So I mean, with them coming out and saying that David Ortiz tested positive for PEDs, that's incorrect. It's invalid. It's not true.
But Barry Bonds and Clemens, 100%. And
neither one of them have tested positive either.
Okay, so why aren't they in?
Because the Baseball Writers Association of America deemed the fact that because someone, and I don't apologize for this, Jose Canseco was a fucking rat.
Yes,
he wrote a book,
and
dick. He went and said, "Oh, this person did steroids, that person did steroids, this person did steroids," and he's just a fucking cunt in my opinion. And I hate him.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing too.
I absolutely cannot stand Jose Canseco. Back in the 80s and 90s, he was like one of my favorite players.
I know.
But like when he came out and he said that, nope. They did a Rough and Rowdy. You know what that is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they did Rough and Rowdy. I think that's a Barstool thing. I'm not 100% sure on that. But they did a Rough and Rowdy, and he got knocked out in the first round, and I was so fucking happy about that. I was like, that guy's such a piece of shit.
Yeah, I mean, when you taking people down for what, to sell a book, it's just ridiculous.
It's not even that. It's because you were caught doing fucking steroids. So he went and he fucking brought McGuire down. He brought down his beef with A-Rod pisses me off. I really want to see A-Rod take him out in a fucking Rough and Rowdy, honestly.
That would be hilarious. I think A-Rod might take him. He's got some reach on him. Probably some age too, right? Jose Canseco's a little older.
I think he is. I'm not sure.
What do you think about Schilling, dude? Last year, he's like, just take me off the fucking ballot. I don't even want to be there. Like Roger Clemens coming out saying today, like, oh, me and my family put that in our rear view mirror 10 years ago.
Well, let me ask you a question.
About being a Hall of Fame
let me answer your question. Stop talking. Jesus.
I'm just talking.
So with the Schilling, the thing with Schilling, he basically put his own foot in his own mouth. You know, he literally just couldn't shut up. And you know, I don't want to get into the whole like politics things and this, that, and the other thing. Because,
Yeah, you do.
No, actually, I really don't. He told them last year that he doesn't want to be in, and he also said that if he went in, he was voted in, he would not go in as a Red Sox, which is very disappointing as a Red Sox fan because of the way that the ownership treated him after everything that happened. Yeah. As a player, Schilling deserves to be in the Hall of Fame. The problem with the Baseball Writers Association of America is the fact that they just sit there and they don't take into consideration, hey, this guy was just a really, really good player. He won 3 World Series. He was a co-MVP in 2001 with Randy Johnson. The Arizona Diamondbacks shouldn't have won that World Series. The New York Yankees were definitely a better team, but they weren't a better team when you had Randy Johnson and Curt Schilling. One was starting and one was like relief pitching.
So it's pretty amazing to watch.
Right. Well, not for you, but
I watched World Series, bro. I watched the Diamondbacks. I remember Randy Johnson and Schilling pitching together.
I'm just saying that they were pitching against your team.
So. It's more the exact reason why I watched the game, bro.
Right. But who was the other one? Roger Clemens?
Yeah.
Roger Clemens came out and, I mean, he didn't say anything negative. I think that what he said was, you know, he accepted his fate. He really did. He accepted what was. Here's the thing. People think that just because they weren't elected into the Baseball Hall of Fame by the writers, that they think that they can't get voted in by, I forgot what it's called. I think it's the veterans or something like that. In December, they're able to get voted in. I believe there's about 16 people that have a vote, and they have to get at least 12 of those votes to get into the Baseball Hall of Fame. And they're like umpires and players, and ex-players and things like that.
So you're thinking that might be a stream that Clemens or Schilling or Bonds can take?
I'm not so sure about Schilling because he said that
he might not even want to pursue it.
Well, it's not really up to him, honestly.
Yeah.
It's really, you know, like as much as he doesn't want to do it, like they still put him in as a member of, like, he was eligible, he was on the ballot and whatnot. But
do you think that these guys respect these guys voting? Like, do you think they think it's like a joke? I mean, like, how many votes are there? There's like over 400 votes.
There's 400.
400 votes, and they're writers and sportscasters and what? Who are these people?
They have to be a part of the. They have to be some sort of a team. They have to be a part of, like, the Writers Association. So, like, if you know, obviously a writer, you have to be a part of the Baseball Writers Association for at least 10 years. You have to be writing consecutively for 10 years before you get a ballot vote. I actually, on my other
opinionated
podcast,
kind of stuff.
What do you mean opinionated? Oh, yeah, like you can write, you know, stuff like that. Uh-huh. Whatever. It's I think they're a joke, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm kind of getting at, because I mean, if you can sit there,
look, like, just put this into perspective, all right? Back in 2020, this was a random fact that I was given. All right. Barry Bonds had 688 intentional walks in his career. And as of their inception till 2020, the Tampa Bay Rays as a team had only 614 intentional walks.
Huh.
That's not one player. That's not like 1 year. That's like their entire, like, from when they became a team until 2020, they only had 614 intentional walks. Barry Bonds had 688.
That's wild. That's wild. It's like,
In 2004, Barry Bonds posted 4 straight seasons of more walks than hits, with almost a 2-for-1 ratio. He had 135 hits and 232 walks.
that's crazy. See, I mean, it's insane. Why not? Why not them? That's the question.
You want to
That's the
keep
question.
my problem with keeping.
Would
Barry
you
Bonds up-
put Andy Pettit into the Hall of Fame?
No.
Not yet, or not
I don't think
at
Andy
all?
Pettit's. I can't. It should be a member of the Hall of Fame, and I don't even say that as like being biased at all. I just don't
Right. I
think
get that, but why do you think that he shouldn't?
I don't think that he's that type of person.
So you don't think Andy Pettit? He was voted. He got a couple votes on these, but it wasn't anything high. It was like 5% or something. But
Right. So if he only had 5%, he's going to be off the ballot next year. You have to at least keep 10%.
Okay. Oh, you have to keep. Well, I don't know what the exact words were, and I don't even know his number of year. You know what I mean? I just noticed that he was on there. So that's would you have him on your team if he was out there? I'm just saying, in theory and theoretical world.
Would I want Pettit on my team? It depends. Who do I have available for pitchers? Because there's definitely other pitchers I would fucking take over Pettit in a heartbeat.
And
like if it was between
that time frame that he was pitching, the other pitchers that were,
I would take Randy Johnson in a heartbeat over Pettit.
Yeah. Okay. That's true. I would too.
I would take Roger Clemens over Pettit in a heartbeat.
So when they talk about PEDs, that's the reason why Bonds doesn't get in, right? So there's nobody in the Hall of Fame at all that's ever been, tested positive.
There's definitely players in the Hall of Fame that have been. Here's the thing, and this is what pisses me off about the Hall of Fame and these writers saying like, "Oh, I'm not freaking voting a guy that's been in PED, who's been indicated with PEDs." You have rapists, racists. You have women beaters that are all in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, you have people like Willie Mays, Hank Aaron. They both did drugs. They both did performance-enhancing drugs. They took amphetamines to do their. I'm not using Darryl Strawberry because everybody knows that guy was a fucking cokehead. But I mean, Willie Mays and Hank Aaron, two of the greatest of all time. They admitted to doing drugs to be able to better themselves. You know why people don't talk about that though? Because they were two of the greatest of all times.
Right.
So with that being said, Barry
why
Bonds,
were they the best of all or greatest of all times? Because they were in sports enhancing drugs. And these guys literally brought baseball back to people's lives. Like baseball was literally a dying sport before PEDs came in. I mean, granted, it wasn't like fully dead yet. It was still a little popular, but I mean,
the problem
Sosa McGuire freaking thing just made everything just explode for baseball. They made so much money during those freaking years, and
they made hand over fist worth of money. But the thing is like there was a strike of 95, 90. Was it 94, 95, 95, 96? I think it was 94, 95.
Don't ask me.
And then the whole Sosa thing came out. The Sosa and McGuire thing, where they were starting to chase the Roger Maris record of the 70 home runs in one season, and you have numerous players like Jose Canseco was doing fucking steroids in the 80s. I mean, I was listening to EEI earlier today, and they were talking about how he's one of the only 40-40 players, 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. Back in the 80s, nobody gave a fuck about that.
Right.
They just, this dude who looked like he shouldn't be stealing 40 fucking bags a year had 40 home runs, 40 stolen bases. Why did he have these? They're saying it was the performance enhancing drugs. There's not that many people that had fucking a 40-40 season. Like there's people that had 30-30 seasons, but 40-40 seasons, there's not many. And like, I just think that the funny thing is like you have somebody like Bud Selig who was the commissioner of MLB during the steroid era, which people really say, or in the 90s.
Yeah.
And Barry Bonds, he ended up with, okay, his head got bigger, he got a lot bigger and whatnot. But everything that McGuire, Sosa, Bonds, all those guys did, they ended up making MLB hands over fist of money. And Bud Selig knew exactly what was going on, and he turned his eye on it. And the fucked up thing, in my opinion, is that they're not allowing people like Sammy Sosa, Barry Bonds, Roger Clemens, and I 100% think that even though A-Rod has tested positive multiple times, A-Rod should be in the Hall of Fame as well. And these guys aren't in the Hall of Fame, and you got somebody like Bud Selig who benefited from the steroid era. And that's where, like, the Baseball Writers Association and those writers that, I have on my other podcast, one of my co-hosts, Hogdale, had made it a thing. He was like, these writers are literally just pissed off because people like Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens weren't nice to them.
Exactly. It's insane. But you know what? I like your talking points. I like your ideas. I love talking to you about baseball because you're so knowledgeable and you know what's going on around the league and throughout, history. And it's good to be able to talk some baseball before it gets to springtime, right?
We'll hopefully get some baseball in the springtime. I'm hoping this lockout fucking ends soon. They're meeting. There's a good possibility.
Too much money on the table.
They've already met twice this week. There's a possibility that they could meet tomorrow or Friday. We're not 100% sure when that's going to happen, but as long as they keep meeting and they keep, discussing and being able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Come to some sort of like an agreement. Yeah. If they can come up with some sort of an agreement before the end of February, I see it to where we can easily get a full season.
Yeah, they need to stop being dickheads.
Who do you think are being the dickheads?
Everyone. Just finish it off, get baseball going. You need spring training, so it's time to figure out your contracts, figure out everything in writing, get it written down, and let's be on with it. You know what I mean? There's got to be, and honestly, and I know you don't like talking politics, but we need to do that more in the world these days. We need to all come together and be together and come as one with everybody's ideas, and it could be a better place if we did that. I don't know why I threw that at the end there, Brad, but
I really wasn't listening to you. I'm trying to find this picture for you so that
I, however, have to put my child to bed, and
your child's 11 years old. He does not need you to put him to bed.
No, he's got to, do the fatherly thing and make sure, you talk about his day and, figure out what we're doing tomorrow and what time he's waking up.
You want to tuck him in?
I wouldn't say tuck in, I throw the blanket over him, but it's nothing,
Yeah, you want to tuck him in?
It's not a tuck in. It's not a tuck in.
It's a tuck in. It's
he's been over that shit since he was like 5.
Yeah,
he's a big boy. He's a good boy too. Smart ass sometimes, but he, it's a Shanler in him.
Yeah, definitely a smart ass. Give me a second. I'm still trying to find this fucking picture. You were talking about that the police officer in the bullpen.
Yeah, dude, that was funny. All he did, he's like watching the ball, and he's watching it, and he knows it's a home run now, and he's still watching the guy go over the freaking over the fence, and he didn't even try to like break his fall or try to help him instantly. I'm sure as you speed up the video, he might have gone down and help him or whatever, but when they did he didn't.
Nope.
And that was in Boston, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a Boston cop.
Hold on 1 second. I'm trying to find it because I actually met him.
You did?
Yep, I met him. I got pictures done with him, and he made the same pose.
Wow, they made him a big thing, huh?
Yeah. He's no longer the bullpen cop. I don't
No.
think he works.
He got promoted.
No, I think he retired.
Good for him. He probably made a hell of a lot of money selling just pictures.
He didn't sell pictures. He just took pictures with people. Tell your kid to just go to bed.
Brad said, "You want to come on?"
He doesn't want to come on.
What's up?
Oh,
He can't hear anything.
Yeah,
I know
can't
you
do
can't.
that.
Oh, here it is. Found it.
Where is it?
Hold on. I'm going to share it with you in a second.
Oh, that's okay. Yeah, I
Yep,
thought you
that's
were gonna. I thought you were gonna.
that he did the exact same pose too.
What's with the 5? Why do you do that? And not a fist.
That's how he raised his hand when it happened. If you watch the video, he puts his hands up in the air.
5-0? 5-0? Is 5-0?
I
5-0?
highly doubt that. I highly doubt that was the case. That's a bad take there. That's a bad take.
All right, man. All right, guys. It was nice for everybody to listen and watch or whatever. Let us know your feedback. If you want anything we want to talk about, we'll talk about it or give you our opinions. Each and every time we're going to get better and better. This is my son, Anthony, right here. He's 11. He's, like I said, he's a good kid. He's just an asshole sometimes. But that's a Shanler. But
at least his initials aren't ass.
Yeah. All right, cool. Cheers.